We're live.
Okay. Yeah, so we're actually broadcasting, but not quite live yet. All right, now we're live. So, hello everyone, and welcome to Adventure on So Many Levels. We're gonna play some Dungeons and Dragons.
D&D.
ND.
Fewer voices joining the chorus tonight. We have several members of our party not able to join us tonight. We are down to two. I'm Christiana Ellis. I'm the Dungeon Master. But the two players we do have tonight, Paul Fisher as Zinhorn Windborn,
Good evening.
and Mark Kilfoyle as Nedry Shiny Rock.
Tonight I only have one question. How many is too many questions?
Well, perhaps we will find out. Perhaps uh, not, because I have just invented on the spot a side quest for you two to go on because we don't have any of the rest of the players. But we left off last time with the party finally able to remove the curse that had been afflicting Nedry via the jade circlet that you recovered from the Reclaimer's Mansion. And it was complicated. You also still have a monster in a fancy bag of holding who you don't want to let him out, but you do want to know what he knows. It's complicated. How do you work that out? But you also have various members of the party doing various things that right now I think we're just going to go ahead and say, you know what? Everyone else is busy at the moment. And so I think we are going to assume that we are the next day after that whole incident. So you are able to have had a long rest in that, and we will resolve what's happening with everybody else some other time. I think right now everyone else is busy, but what has happened is that you're all getting ready to figure out what you are going to do today when Sunia, the spirit inhabiting this castle where you're all staying, lets you know, Zinhorn, you seem to have a visitor. There is a turtle child by the name of Tuga asking for you outside.
Interesting. I will go out and see who this is.
And we hear a flute, which is almost like an accompaniment right now. That's fine. So you head out, and sure enough, it is this turtle child that you met with, previously around the neighborhood of the Cunning Oaf. And he looks up at you, somewhat relieved to see you, but you can also tell this kid seems nervous. Like he is here sort of reluctantly, but doesn't know what else to do. And he just kind of looks up at you and just says, Mr. Zinhorn, I, I need your help. I need your help to find my friends, and I don't know. Mr. Emerald at the at that tavern that exploded. He told me where to find you. I I can you help me?
Yes, I can. Why don't you come in and um,
Uh,
tell
he
me what's going on?
he kind of says, "No, no, we have to go. We have to go right now. I think we
Um,
might be in trouble."
okay. Um, uh, Sunya, can you ask Nedry to join me?
She does.
Okay. All right.
So, Nedry, are you joining?
Yes,
Yeah,
yes,
yeah.
yes. Uh, Hi, Zinhorn. Oh, hi. Uh, looks for his notes. Tuga? Is that right?
Yeah, yeah, that's me. Um, so I you guys, I saw the business cards. And you do pocket dimension things.
Yeah.
Well, I think my friends are in one. They
Really?
well, it's we just call it a shortcut, but it is a shortcut where space goes a little funny.
Oh, wow.
And
I've been wanting these.
your friends went in and didn't come out, or what happened?
Can we like talk on the way? Cause
Yeah,
I
yeah.
all right. So he is like hurrying, like to lead you along, and for this is a turtle kid, so he's got kind of a big, sort of bulky turtle shell, on his back, but he is certainly not slow like the idiomatic tortoise. He is, pulling and hurrying you along, um, and he says, this is a shortcut that we always take, and we're always really careful in there. And usually we always stay together inside. But then they left ahead of me a little bit, and then I couldn't find them. And I'm pretty sure that I searched everywhere except the Goop Road, and I don't know where they are right now. But I feel like they might need help.
Where's the shortcut normally go to?
He like pauses for a second. I mean, lots of places.
Oh, it doesn't have a specific location to end?
Well, I mean,
Fascinating.
it has lots of them. It doesn't
Oh,
have it like it's he kind of like looks at a road and says like it's like a road, like it goes lots of places.
oh.
Okay.
How do you know where you're going to end up?
He kind of says like it it's like a road. You know where you are when you get there.
Oh, okay. Hmm.
You sure you guys know about these things?
Well, most of the ones that we've seen have like one entrance and exit, and that's it. One way in, one way out.
He's looking a little bit discouraged, because he thought he was bringing in the experts, and you guys seem like you don't know what he's talking about.
Well, we've never seen this one. Come on, let's go find your friends.
He's guiding you along, and you get to the base of the tower. He certainly takes you down the stairs, and so this takes a little while. And
Hmm.
you can see maybe part of why he's nervous is that like it's a little ways away, and he already has had time to get worried and then figure out where to go and then go there, and so he is definitely pulling you along quickly. But he leads you down to it's a relatively sort of rundown neighborhood, um, that is not too far away from where the Cunning Oaf is. But as he is leading you around, the corner of this particular block, he starts singing to himself this little rhyme. He's saying, sticky slick, get us where we're going twice as quick. Slippy stick. We want a place for hiding in shadows thick. And he's just singing this to himself as he's leading you around this corner, and then you reach between two buildings. There's an alley with a dead end brick wall,
Hmm.
and there's on the dead end brick wall there is one of those basement windows, right, where a window designed to access like a basement level. But one of the things that I think, well, both of you make a perception check.
That's appropriate. I dropped my die.
That's a 22.
Okay, so
And I rolled a.
Zinhorn, I think you kind of do a double take when you look down this alley, because you realize that, uh, first of all, the length of this alley in the block should go all the way to the other side of the block, and there's a wall there, but like the basement window in that wall, like there's not a building on the other side of that wall, and for that matter, you you feel there's just something a little bit uncanny about this alley. Like the something's strange about it.
Hmm.
And but Tuga is basically just kind of pointing along and says, um, you can tell this is one of the openings because it's the alley's only here when you say the rhyme.
Oh,
Oh, interesting.
how do you know the rhyme? Did someone teach it to you? Or did you figure it out on your own?
Oh, like you hear other kids talk about it, like the bigger kids will tell the littler kids sometimes when you need a shortcut or a way to somewhere to hide.
Hmm. It could be a magical incantation. Clever to put it in a rhyme. That would make sense. Are you a student of the arcane?
His eyes kind of go wide there. I don't do any of that.
Hmm.
I just like I just use it as a shortcut. And he's guiding you. He's pulling you along because you guys are asking too many questions and taking too long. And he points through there and he says, "It takes me a little longer to squeeze through the window because of my shell. And usually Hong Kong and Kylie wait for me, but they were really excited because Hong Kong said he found a hideout." And they ran ahead while I was coming through the window, but then when I turned around the corner, they weren't there. And then I looked in all of the different ways, and I can't find them. The only place that I didn't look was Goop Road because I don't want to go there by myself. But
Well,
they've been in there too long.
what happens if you're in there too long?
I don't know. I just
Okay.
can't find them.
All
They've
right.
come
Well,
back. They should have come back.
we're here to help you.
Don't worry. The pocket protectors are on the case. I just don't know where to start.
I think we start by going through the window, right?
Makes sense. Let's see how the window opens or if I can wriggle into it.
It's so there. The window is not like a huge opening. Certainly, it wouldn't be any trouble at all for Nedry. But Tuga with his shell has to kind of squeeze through. Like he gets like his belly and the round end of his shell kind of just fit, and he kind of has to er, 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 to get through it. Zinhorn, I think you're going to have to. It's going to take a little work to get through it
Uh,
yourself.
You'll
oh
need to
yeah.
hug your wings in really, really tightly.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, how about an athletics check as you try to squeeze in? It is, by the way, this window. It has like a pane of really just filthy glass, but it's propped up so that there is an opening, but it is completely dark inside. I think Nedry has dark vision, but you don't see anything other than just kind of a vaguely dusty brick corridor is kind of all you can see from outside.
Okay.
Okay. Let me do my roll. And I got a 16.
Okay. Yeah, I think you have to work on holding your wings in tight to get through, but you're able to make it in, and so you're definitely realizing once you have gotten into this little corridor that like this feels vaguely like a basement or passageway, but it doesn't make any sense for this to be something that is just immediately under a road. You don't get any sense that that's what's happening here, even though you know from outside that's what should be happening.
Okay.
But it is completely dark. So,
I'm going to cast light
okay.
on the front of my shield.
All right. Um, so as you are, you know, finding your feet in this little corridor, Tuga starts pulling along, and he says, "So I usually we would go around here," and he kind of just there. This is just kind of this like maze like uh, set of corridors, but you can see in the light from your light spell that there's
Hmm.
various places where there's like chalk markings on the walls and at some of the intersections. Uh,
Okay.
and he says, so I was right behind them, and when usually they would wait for me, but then they ran around. I think they went around this corner, but they didn't, like, they weren't there when I got there, and I couldn't find them anywhere. But they were. Hong Kong wanted me to see his hideout. I don't. He wouldn't have just left me.
Well, it's very possible that he has a really, really good hideout that can be really hard to find, which is good for a hideout, but not when you're trying to find it.
But he wanted to show it to me.
Maybe you just missed the door.
I'm going to take a note of those symbols. I don't know what
Okay.
they mean, but I'll take a note of them.
Sure.
Are they
An
just like
investigation check.
arrows or something to tell the?
They're various symbols. Like, there's a variety of symbols. They are not. This is not like a fine detail work of like engraving or anything. This is kind of a haphazard chalk on it, but it is a variety of symbols in
Okay,
the various
give me
places.
1 sec.
Okay. All right. So investigation check, Mark.
Sure. Yep. Dirty 20.
Okay. Yeah. So I think that you recognize that this is not like, it's not like a language as such, but it's a fairly basic kind of code that is just, based on symbols. Like, you recognize that there's one that like one direction you would guess means go this way to get like to the docks, and then another one that would say go this way to get to the Sky Tower district and that sort of thing.
Okay. I'll note it down with a few extra notes for sequential later
Mm-hmm.
because sequential likes codes.
So it's kind of like the blue line and the white line and the green line in the hospital.
Well, yeah, maybe it's really more like just signage. It's
Okay.
just like the brick corridors that you're in. Um, it's all very sort of dusty. The air feels kind of stale in here, but there's no markings of any kind in the actual construction. So it's really just these little chalk symbols that have obviously been added later.
This would be an interesting way to get around. I hate to mention it too, but this is the sort of thing that perhaps the circlet would have been good to define. But I'm working on other spells that I can use that inspired by, but distant from that. For now, I might be able to see if there's any magical disturbance. It might show that there will be an illusion or something nearby, maybe a hidden entrance.
Okay.
But it's going to take me a little while, and I hate to slow us down. We can try just prodding the stones and see if we can find an entrance, or at least an edge to an effect. You did say he was going in this direction, right?
Well, but they went around a corner, and so I didn't see. By the time I caught up with them, they weren't here.
Hmm.
Well, maybe there are footsteps, or footprints, rather, or other disturbances of the dust. Magical residue, maybe, too. But it'll take me about 10 minutes to find the magic.
Are you
He,
going to be okay with that?
are you asking Tuga?
I'm asking Tuga.
Well, I mean, he's kind of just sort of dancing around, looking nervous, like you all have already exhausted the things that he knows how to try. He didn't come to ask for help lightly. He has already exhausted the things that he knows how to do.
Okay.
Now, you could ask him about some more of those, but he is stumped and relying on the grown-ups to solve the problem for him at this point.
Okay. I'm going to look for any sign of recent tracks.
Okay. Make a survival check.
And while he's looking around, it will try to ritually cast detect magic.
Okay.
I have a 12.
Okay. There is actually some, like you can see some degree of tracks in the dusty floor, um, with the amount of light that's being given off by your light spell. You can
Hmm.
see that there are like there's various tracks through here. It's not very clear. Like I'm not saying like you can tell that this is clearly a one lizard folk track and one half elf track. It's more like you see evidence that there have been people passing this way recently.
Okay. All right.
All right. Okay.
I'm still here.
Yeah. All right. So, um, okay, but what are you guys doing?
Um,
I guess while I'm doing the ritual casting, I will ask Tuga,
tell us more about your friends. What kind of people are they?
uh,
What do they look like?
Hong Kong is a water genasi. Like his skin is blue, and
Okay.
he kind of it looks like he's sweaty all the time, and he says it's not sweat, but it seems like it's sweat to me. And Kylie is an Aarakocra, but they're my friends. They're both they're kids like me, but Hong Kong is a little bigger,
A little older or just bigger?
older.
Okay.
He's 14.
All right.
I mean, until the spell is finished or something else interrupts it, there's nothing
Okay,
happening.
yeah, he's looking like he thought you guys were going to be more decisive than this, and so he's kind of nervous, but he doesn't know what else to do. So,
Well, we're looking around trying to find places where the kids might have gone.
well, I mean, are you doing that, or if Nedry is ritually casting a spell, he can't be walking around while he does that.
Well, I'm doing that.
Okay, are you leaving him behind?
I'm not losing sight of him.
Okay, well, I mean, you can't get very far.
Okay.
Because there's lots of twists and turns in this place. They're all at kind of 90-degree angles, but it's clearly a maze. Like the layout of this place does not make any like architectural sense.
Okay.
Meaning
So,
there's just like various paths where you kind of look down and it's just like okay, there's a hallway that goes like 15 feet and then turns right again, and then you look in that direction and it just kind of loops back around, and it's like someone designed a maze, not someone designed a like functional, purposeful hallway.
okay.
So yeah, you can't really get very far or see very much without leaving Nedry out. Like if you try to maintain line of sight, you really can't uh, get very far.
All right. So I've looked around all the corners and we'll come back and wait for Nedry right
Okay.
now.
All right. So I mean, I guess you just wait on that spell, and then what? This is detect magic.
Yes.
Okay. So you finish your ritual. You have just a vague sort of sense that like there's sort of a higher level kind of background radiation of magic in this whole place, but you don't see anything specific lighting up other than the magical items that you have on you.
Okay, nothing specific here, but I can see for 10 minutes, so we better make some tracks.
You said something about Goop Road, that you didn't want to go there alone.
That's the
You
only
go.
place I didn't I don't like it there. Usually we don't go that way because the spirits in there. But it's the only place I didn't check. Usually, like we wouldn't go that way, because that's where Yeah, that's where it gets sticky and slippery.
Okay, and you said that there were spirits there.
I think.
Okay. But you said you checked everywhere else, so it sounds like we need to check there, and we're here with you now, so that should be okay.
Okay. Okay. Okay. And so he is guiding you along. He's clearly looking at these chalk symbols to kind of pull you along, but you recognize pretty quickly that once again, like the passage he's taking you on, like it does not make any sense for any sort of a like a logical geography.
Mm-hmm.
It's just making lots of left and right turns for no apparent reason beyond the fact that he's following chalk symbols. But you realize a couple of times that it feels like it sure seems like you would have gone around in a circle at this point, but you're not seeing a duplicate of the symbols, even though it's just a matter of like, I feel like we went this far this direction and then turned, and then just your own sense of the space seems like you're going in circles, but you're not actually seeing a duplication of the symbols. But he does not seem lost. He's clearly navigating by means of these chalk symbols.
Are there particular symbols that are consistently coming up for him that he seems to be paying
Um,
attention to?
yeah, I the I don't have like a glossary to give you, but
No, but he's paying attention to a particular symbol or subset of symbols each
um,
time.
he's there's not one symbol that he's following consistently.
Oh,
It's
okay.
that he knows which ones to follow. Like so it's a little bit like hypothetically, if you knew that it was all on a grid, he knows turn left at A3, turn right at B4, etc. It's like that. It's not that there's one particular symbol that he always follows. It's that he knows which ones
Okay.
to turn for.
I'll try to Nedry will try to keep track of the set of symbols at least of the
Okay.
order.
All right. So he is guiding you along, and then he kind of he's been kind of pulling ahead a little bit as he guides you, but then he runs up a little bit to where there's sort of a long passage, that doesn't turn for a while. There's been most of these where you don't go very far before you have to turn, but now there's this long passage ahead, and then clearly an intersection where it crosses, and he kind of runs up to it and points down in that direction to the left and says, "In there." But he does not go that way. He waits for you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Has
And
it been longer than 10 minutes traveling through here?
no, he's been hurrying you through. So you're making a fair amount of turns, and you've spent a few minutes, but um, you do get the vague sense looking down that passage that first of all, what you realize is that before, you just have the various brick, right? And it's dusty, it's dirty, it's stale, like a a basement that's not been cleaned. But what you see going off in that direction, first of all, is that it feels like the light given off by your light spell kind of seems to die out a little quicker than it should. Like it doesn't penetrate quite as far in
Mm-hmm.
that direction. And you can see that there's some kind of like mud or slime that kind of starts a little patchy here and there, but gradually starts coating the walls, floor, and ceiling as far as you can see in that direction. And basically, it continues on into darkness.
Still no signs of any sort of magical effects or anything like that?
You get the vague sense that there's kind of spiritual energy in that direction.
It's more interesting than the rest of it. Is this a place down this way? Is there some place we expect to find, or
I
just a passage?
I don't ever go this way. I don't know if maybe Hankun did, and that's where he found it. But I we don't ever go this way. I don't know what's over there.
Well, we'll learn something anyway.
Yeah,
Are you ready?
let's find out.
Safety first.
I cast mage armor.
Okay. All right. So he is
Whoops.
not leading the way this time. He seems reluctant to go that way.
I'll go first.
All right. So you lead the way, and what are you doing, Zinhorn? Are you kind of urging
I'm
Tuga along
I'm
the path?
following.
Well, okay. So
Yeah.
are you keeping Tuga in the middle, or are you letting him trail
Yeah,
behind?
let's keep Tuga in the middle. I'll
Okay.
take up the rear. Um, I'll get my mace out.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So he is kind of he sees he oohs and ahs a little bit when you take the mace out, just like, oh, this is serious business now. But as you're going along, sure enough, as you get to the place where this strange, like, as you get closer, you realize part of what made it seem like the light just dissipated is that whatever this stuff on the floor and walls and ceiling is, it's just pitch black. It's some kind, it's like oil or slime of some kind, but it's just black slime without much in the way of shiny like surface. It doesn't reflect the light very much. But certainly as you kind of progress into it, you kind of just step. It's not deep, but it is just, like, splashes a little under your feet. And in fact, I'm going to go ahead and as you kind of move into where it's fully covering the floor, I'm going to need Nedry, who's going first, to make a dexterity saving throw for me, please.
Sure can. That is a 6.
Okay. Your feet slip right out from under you, fall right on your butt.
Ow! This stuff is crazy. I need to get a sample. You happen to have a bottle on you? I didn't think to grab one. Also, can you give me a hand? This is hard to
Uh,
get a hold of.
yep. I give Nedry a hand getting back up. I don't have rope on me. What kind of adventurer am I?
You have a cleric's kit instead.
Yes, I do.
Mm-hmm.
Nedry, do you have any rope?
No, I don't generally carry rope. It's too heavy.
Okay. Well, this could have been better planned, but we had no time. So we'll make do, and Rashama will provide.
Mm-hmm.
He's providing the light, so at least there's that.
Mm-hmm.
You
Yep.
can see. Can you see in the dark, Tuga?
He shakes his head no. He says, "I have a little glow rock, but it's not as bright as yours."
All right.
He
Well,
shows you that he has a little rock that's kind of the size of his fist that gives off like a 5 foot glow. It would be just enough to like hold up to the wall and see the symbols and that sort of thing, but that's about it.
Okay.
well, good. I'm glad you got some light.
Are there symbols on the walls here, or like?
No, because this whatever this substance is, it covers like it was kind of patchy at first, but by the time we get to where you slipped, it is completely covering the walls, ceiling, and floor.
Does it smell?
Make a perception check.
Oh, probably not. Oh, 16.
It does not have a powerful smell, but it does have a vaguely sort of like organic smell, like it's produced by a living thing, as opposed to like alchemical or something.
Okay, but it's not pungent like it's sewer or something.
No.
Hmm.
Like you can smell it now that you think about it, but it wasn't obvious. However, I think you do. It does feel like there's increased moisture, you know, as you get into this area in the air.
Remind me to taste some before we leave. Probably tastes
Tuga
bad, but
looks
at least I'll know.
horrified.
Yeah, that might not be the best idea, Nedry. I don't
We
have.
have
It could
we
be
have at least 6
poisonous.
senses, so we should try them all.
Yeah, but if it's poisonous, you won't be trying anything else ever again, would you?
Well, I did say on the way out.
Are there branches off of the hall we're in, or is it all just a tube?
It's well, as far as you can see right now, it's just long and straight.
Okay, let's keep going.
Yep.
All right, make another dexterity saving throw.
Oh, that's better.
21.
Okay. Yeah, you after your initial spill, you kind of start doing the penguin walk a little bit. You know, where you're just keeping your weight on top of your feet and you're holding it together for now. How about you, Zinhorn?
How about me? Dexterity. Huh? It rolled off of 18 onto 8.
Huh. Whoop. Incidentally, both of you that have now fallen prone, including Tuga, who also now slips and falls on his butt, um, uh, are all your backside is just coated with this, you know, ugly black like soil. You know, it's
Yeah.
stained. Is my point. Is you've got mud essentially all over your butt.
Well, I'm going to have a sample. I'll just have to
Yep.
scrape it out of my pants.
All right, so you all kind of help each other sort of get back up, and you're just proceeding cautiously as
Mm-hmm.
possible. All right. So if you're moving pretty slow as you go along there, um, and
Oh,
then
Nedry, is this stuff magical?
Doesn't seem to be anything more particular than anything else around here.
Okay. Sorry.
so as you are making your way along, Nedry, you're still in front.
Yep.
Okay, so as you keep moving forward, you discover. Well, let's have you go ahead and make a strength saving throw.
Okay. Oh, 18.
Okay. You take another step onto more of this sludge that looks exactly the same, but when you try to pull your foot up from this stuff, it's sticky now. Like so, you're like it almost pulls your boot off. You're able to not get stuck, but you certainly are aware now that somehow this slime has turned from slippery to sticky um, within a step.
Ah, it's getting thicker. And it does mean it's unlikely anyone would have come this way. And, well, we don't know where it comes out on the other end. It's going to be very difficult for us to move any further. Maybe we should go back.
Um, all of you make a perception check. Well, both of you. I'm rolling for Tuga. He got a 3.
8.
21.
You hear what sounds like the scuttling of something small, uh, like climbing along, like scurrying along, like a hallway is sort of the sound you hear, but it's off kind of in the darkness ahead of you.
I'm hearing something down the way that we're heading. So even if the
Oh.
floor is sticky, we should see what's down there at least.
Okay, just watch your step. It almost took my boot off.
All right.
So let's have all three of you make strength saving throws to proceed.
Just a 12 that time.
And 17.
Okay. Both of you are able to get through, but Tuga gets stuck and needs a little bit of assistance. You are able to render it, but he's, uh, has a little bit of trouble. But as you're moving forward and it's just going sticky, like, your boots are just
Stick, stick, stick.
like walking on, like hot tar, except it's not hot. Um, you once again hear some of that same sort of scurrying, scuttling sound, Zinhorn, but this
Mhm.
time you're sure that you not only hear it from ahead, but also from behind you. And you start hearing little voices muttering. Do either of you speak Sylvan?
Nope.
I speak Elvish.
Not the same, unfortunately.
Okay.
So you hear some, low, high, so high voices speaking at a low volume, um, kind of muttering conversation, that they seem to be kind of having some sort of a dialogue exchange, that is, for their benefit, not yours, but you certainly hear them whispering to each other.
Well, if I'm hearing voices I don't recognize, I will cast comprehend languages.
Okay, okay. So as you cast the spell, you catch into the middle of this little conversation of like, "Oh, these are persistent ones, but these are new. I don't think they've been through here before. I don't know. Should we let them through? I don't know. They look suspicious. I think that we should maybe scare them away. Yeah, I think so too." And all of a sudden, we're gonna roll initiative.
I don't think they like us being down. Uh-oh.
All right.
11.
Okay.
14 for me.
Okay, 14 Nedry.
So,
11.
do I recognize the language that they're speaking as Sylvan, even though I don't
Make
know
an
it?
intelligence check.
Uh, 6.
I don't think you recognize it.
All right.
Uh, okay, so uh, as you are kind of hearing this muttering, all of a sudden the scurrying sound seems to be moving in your direction, but then also, uh, like one of these things emerges from like it seems to just come right out of the wall right next to you. It did not have to like run at you through the hallway. It just emerges from the wall. And this tiny little creature, it's got a big head and long grasping arms, and its skin looks like it's just covered with this slime stuff, seems to come right out of the wall. And Nedry, it's going to try to sort of just whack you. And it only gets a 9, so you just sort of like see this sort of wild swipe of an arm, little tiny arm, kind of smack out at you but miss. And then Zinhorn, you are going to feel around your feet, around one of your legs, one of them is going to try to grapple you. And I need you to make an acrobatics or athletics check to evade this grapple.
All right. That was an 11.
So 11 actually fails in this context, is that you suddenly feel that like around one of your feet, like one of these little things is sort of half emerged out of the floor and wrapped its little tiny arms around your ankle, and it's currently holding you in place, grappled. And then one more of them is going to drop out of the ceiling onto your head, Nedry. And it's going to try to grapple you as well.
Okay.
And you feel like as it's on you, like its skin is sticky, like when the floor was sticky. So that's acrobatics or athletics for you.
Oh, right. Acrobatics. 12.
Okay. Yeah. So this thing is not as big as you. It's smaller than you, but it's not that much smaller. Like for Zinhorn, it's pretty small, but like for you, it's still, you know, enough to it's kind of formidable. So it's dropped out of the ceiling and it's got its hands like around your shoulders and it's kind of holding you in place. And that is their turn, their first turn. So Nedry, it's your turn.
Okay. Since I'm up close and personal with it, can I see what kind of creature it is? Does it look humanoid at this distance, or
It's humanoid at least in the sense that it has like a head and a face and arms and legs, but it doesn't look like a humanoid. You can make an intelligence check to kind of just at a glance. If you want to try to get a better look at it to determine more detail, you might need your action for that. But I'll let you make a.
no? Just a 7 on the intelligence
Yeah,
check.
so you're not sure. I think you can't really get a good look at it so far because it's
Okay.
dark and this thing's covered with the same substances on the walls and everything, and it's just like grabbing at your head and it's like, ah, what is this? Ah.
Okay.
But it is nonetheless your turn.
All right. Yeah, he's going to speak, but mostly just try to get out of the grip of this thing. But you don't have to scare us away. We're just curious. Who are you? But he's going to try to wriggle out of the thing.
Okay.
I think that's an acrobatics check, which is not going to go very well. That's a 12. Yeah.
Well, it's not got a. Yeah, it does beat that, but it's you get the feeling that this is a little thing. It's not super strong, but it did happen to get better at that than yours, and it has a benefit that it's sticky. It's easier for it to hold on to because it's sticky.
So yeah, he's just mostly going to vocally protest.
Okay. All right. Then after your turn, you hear the same general character of voice, but deeper and louder, still speaking Sylvan, that kind of emerges from further down the hallway and just says, well, perhaps your curiosity is satisfied now and you can leave. You did not ask our permission.
Didn't know you were here.
And Zinhorn, please make a dexterity saving throw as the oil beneath your feet suddenly changes from sticky to slippery. So, dexterity saving throw.
Okay. Natural 20.
Okay, yeah. So, even though it is suddenly slippery instead of sticky, you are able to keep your feet. All right. Zinhorn, it's your turn.
Nedry, can you tell them that we're looking for 2 lost kids? Since
they
you
probably
seem to be talking to them.
They probably just heard you. I can understand what they're saying, but I can't speak their language.
Okay. What did they say? Could you translate?
Oh, well, they did seem to understand me. I just told them, as you heard, that we were curious.
This is a lot of dialogue to be having on one turn.
Sure,
I think
sure.
I have to, yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
So,
Well, he hasn't had an action. I don't know if he's doing
well,
an action.
I'm just saying that we're in initiative, so you can't really just have
Sure.
a whole conversation on one turn.
Okay.
But are you doing anything else, Sinhorn, or just talking?
I'm going to try and break the grapple.
Okay, yeah. Go ahead and roll your acrobatics or athletics.
12.
You are just able to pull your foot out of this thing's grip. I would imagine it's actually a little bit more like you're just sort of kicking your foot like propped against the wall, and you'd sort of just kick it off of your leg. Okay. Anything else?
I'm going to move toward Nedry so I can help him next round. I'm guessing I don't have enough action left this turn.
Okay. Well, I mean, you guys are not far away from each other right now, but
All right. But that would be like to grab the one that's on his shoulders would be a separate action,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
All right. So I'm just going to move a little bit closer so that I can help him
Mhm.
if it's still there next round.
Okay. So so it is the little one's turn again, and the one that's got you grappled, Nedry, is kind of like he's just sort of smacking at you with his other arm, um, and he rolls a 5. So he's pretty ineffectual in all of that. The let's see. All of a sudden, the oil underneath you, Nedry, also now turns slippery instead of sticky. So dexterity saving throw.
Okay. Oh, that's an 18.
Okay, so yeah, you are also able to keep your feet, although Tuga goes down on his butt again, and he's kind of like just sort of looking around wide-eyed, and then one of the little ones also turns to you, Zinhorn, and tries to just sort of smack at you with its little hand and gets a 5. So yeah, these things are not doing a lot of harm to you so far, other than just sort of coming out of nowhere. But your turn, Nedry.
I guess finishing my answer to Zinhorn, they said something about asking for permission, but I told them we didn't even know they were here. And we'll
Ask
try.
them for permission.
Can we pass through?
Hang on. So you said something. Does comprehend languages not let you speak the language?
No, it only lets
Okay.
you understand them.
Well, we need to retcon what they said then, because I was playing it like they understood
Oh, okay.
what you said. They speak Sylvan.
Okay.
They do not speak Common.
So
So
what did they say then?
I think that they probably just said, these bold ones seek to pass our way without asking permission, say, but
Okay.
without addressing it to you. They're still talking to each other.
Okay. They wanted us to ask permission, I guess. I don't know. I don't understand. And I'll try to wriggle free.
All right.
All I can do. That's an acrobatics roll. That is a dirty 20.
Okay, yeah, that'll do it. You can sort of describe how you sort of yank this.
I have this
weird little
feeling of it being like a head crab type thing that's kind of grabbed onto his head, and it's not really, but that's the impression I get. And just sort of like it's the slap fight kind of impression as he's sort of flailing to get it away and kind of shoving it away.
All right, so you are able to shove it away, and now you see emerge out of the floor in front of you a bigger one that's almost your size, Zinhorn, but still it's got an enormous head, proportionally speaking, enormous head and very small body, but then like long spindly arms and legs, and these sort of bright, almost glowing yellow eyes, and it sort of like slides forward almost like it's ice skating, and like it's coming at you, Nedry, because you're in front, to sort of grab at you, but it's like, well, make an insight check.
6.
Okay, yeah, like this thing is terrifying in terms of its demeanor. Like it's coming for you, and it's gonna swipe at you and rolls a 15 to hit.
That meets.
Okay. It does 2 bludgeoning damage as it sort of just like smacks you over and knocks you back on your butt.
Well, it does actually hit the barrier, but yes.
Oh, okay.
My abjuration barrier is up.
Okay,
So
but
those temporary hit points is all. It just
okay, but it hits you and knocks you on your butt still? Yeah?
does it knock me off my feet? Is that
Yes.
what you're saying?
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
okay.
Okay. Yes, it knocks you on your butt, is what I'm saying.
Oh,
It hits
okay.
you, and you fall over on your butt.
Gotcha.
All right. And then it just sort of looms over you and makes this scary, like very, I think very kind of a childish scary face, just like "Blah," that sort of thing. I think Tuga does not like that at all. All right, so Zinhorn, your turn.
Um, I'm going to say in Draconic and Elvish, we would like your permission to pass. We're looking for 2 lost children.
Okay, I mean, you have to pick one. You can't
Okay,
say it.
Elvish.
Okay. So I think you say that, but seem like they don't seem to act like they understand you.
Okay.
Do you do anything else on your turn?
Um, well, I am going to attack. I'm going to try Sacred Flame on the big one.
Okay. He gets a 19.
Dex save. So
Yeah.
I believe that there's no half damage with that.
Correct, not with Sacred Flame. So
Okay.
she reacts with he looks a bit startled, but he is able to move very efficiently within this substance that's all over the walls and everything. He's not you know doesn't seem to be affected by either its stickiness or slipperiness as it may be, and he is able to evade it.
Okay.
All right, so I think all of the little ones are running over at you now, Zinhorn, and they're all trying to smack at you. One gets a 4, one gets a 7, one gets a 10. So these little things are just and they're just like not accomplishing anything. But they're trying though. You're kind of surrounded by these little creatures that are sort of just smacking at you.
Well, they're not attacking my friends.
Nedry.
I do not like these things in Horn, and I'll use my half movement to stand up. And you, I especially don't like. And I will point at the big one and cast Mind Sliver.
Okay. That's an intelligence saving throw?
I'll
Yes.
be right back.
Okay. 11.
Not enough. So it is. Anything is added to that? Nope. So it is 7 points of psychic damage.
Okay. So you feel the spell seek out and take hold, and it definitely gets a pained expression and holds up both hands to its head and snarls. So it now takes its turn. It's coming over, and it is going to attempt to grapple you, Nedry. Nedry?
Oh, sorry. That's a. I was thinking, what am I waiting for? That's an 8 on my acrobatics.
Okay, yeah. It grapples you and begins dragging you away down the corridor, and so you are pulled 30 feet away from your friends, and that's going to be outside the radius of bright light from Zinhorn's spell, but still in the dim light. But yeah, Zinhorn, the big one, has grabbed Nedry and is pulling him away from the group.
Okay. No more Mr. Nice Dragon.
All right. Well, it's your turn.
So it's grappled him, so I can't use my breath weapon without hitting him, right?
I mean, it's a relatively like I would say it's like a 10-foot wide corridor, sort
Mm-hmm.
of that you're in. So like it's theoretically possible, but correct in the sense that right now Nedry is kind of in between you.
All right. I'm gonna try Sacred Flame again.
Okay.
But did you say we were outside of the light range or?
The bright light range, not the dim
Oh,
light
okay.
range.
Gotcha.
All right. Well, it rolled a natural 1 on its dexterity saving throw.
All righty. And I got 10 points of damage.
Okay. All right. Yeah. So I think as you are looking up at this thing that's got you sort of around the feet, Nedrian is pulling you away. You look up at it and suddenly see it wreathed in divine flames, which causes light to reflect off of all of the slime in the hallway here, and it sort of rears back and snarls in pain as it's burned by this flame. And around you, Nedry, all of the little ones sort of shriek in fear. All right, that's Zinhorn's turn. Um, the little ones all try to. First of all, Zinhorn, the oil that you're standing in suddenly turns sticky again. So I need you to make a strength saving throw.
Okay. I got a 16.
Okay, so the slime under you is sticky again, but you're still able to just force your legs enough that you are able to not be restrained. But two of them are still just they're trying to climb up on you and grapple you. So make your athletics or uh, acrobatics or athletics. Oh wow, they both rolled.
21.
Okay. All right, yeah. So that's enough that even though both of these things actually they're very sticky right now, and they're climbing all over you, trying to like grab onto your arms or whatever. You're able to just shake them all off. Okay, Nedry, what are you doing? You are currently grappled by this one and being pulled away from your friends.
Doesn't really understand me. I'm gonna have to continue with the mind sliver because there's no there's no way I can break the hold all that efficiently. So, yep, my friend doesn't like you much either. Wait, no, that's an in save. I don't roll.
Yeah, it got a 6.
Okay, takes 9 points of psychic damage.
Okay. Yeah, so once again, it sort of squeals and holds its head, face scrunched up in pain. And it is your turn. Oh, no, it is its turn now. Did you have anything else on your turn?
No, because I'm still held.
Okay. You find that you are suddenly, you're being dragged not just along the floor of this hallway, but like up the wall and then up onto the ceiling. But then you are just dropped. And so you're going to take 4 points of bludgeoning damage as you just fall from the ceiling of this corridor. And then I need you to make a strength saving throw as you land in the now sticky goop.
10.
Okay, yeah, you find that you splat into this slime, and it's sticky and it's got you held fast, so you're prone and restrained at the moment.
Okay.
Okay, and so that was the Boggle Prime, and Zinhorn is your turn now. So I think you saw just at the edge of your light, you saw just Nedry kind of get dragged. Whoop. thump, splat.
Okay. I'm gonna move up, taking Torta with me. I don't want to leave him.
Tuga. I need
Tuga.
you to make a strength saving throw with disadvantage because you're trying to also help a turtle child, which is a very reasonable thing to do. But
10.
you find that as you're trying to pull the two of you forward, I think you're able to sort of get him up like on an arm so he's not on the ground. You're not having to double pull against that, but I think you find that with the two of you together, you're just finding your feet stuck to the floor and you can't make progress.
Okay.
You could use your action to break free of that, but then you wouldn't have an action remaining for the turn.
No, I'm gonna use my action to cast Sacred Flame.
So you can cast it on one of the little ones, but I maybe my description wasn't clear. You can't see the big one right now.
Okay.
When it dropped Nedry, it disappeared into the ceiling.
Oh, okay.
The little ones are still there, so you could cast it on one of them though.
Yeah, I'll cast it on one of the little ones.
Okay. All right, so it makes dexterity saving throw, and it rolls super low and gets a 7.
And I rolled 4 points of damage.
Okay, yeah, so that one suddenly sort of shrieks and flees away from you as it is burned. And in fact, actually, all of them now seem to just start to run away, and then just like as they're running, they just kind of sink down into the floor or the wall or whatever is the nearest surface for them. And at least at the moment, we'll say it's your turn, Nedry, but right now, none of them are in view.
Okay. Well, Nedry will once again stand up if he can.
Yeah, well, so
This-
I think you need we need a strength check to
Strength check.
unstick
Okay.
yourself. Yeah.
5. So I do not
No,
stand
yeah,
up.
Yeah.
in fact.
You start kind of pushing yourself up, but it's just like.
Well, this is embarrassing. Those things might have might have attacked your friends, I suppose, if they came this way.
Yeah, Tuga, I think is. I like to imagine he's sort of hanging from Zinhorn's bicep right now, and he's just kind of saying, "This is why I didn't want to come here by myself."
That
Smart.
was a very smart thing to get help.
I guess I'll use or was it using my action to stand
Well,
up?
I'm going to say, like, unless you guys are just sort of like blasting at the walls or whatever, like if you're acting as though this is over, we'll drop out of initiative.
Yeah.
Yeah, just looking around. That's all I plan to
Yeah.
do.
So I will say that Zinhorn, you're able to catch up with Nedry and help him out of where he's stuck, and there is more of this corridor that's just covered with this oil, and you would definitely say there is a mischievous / malicious intent in the way that it will suddenly seem to switch between sticky and slippery at the most inconvenient times that feels intentional, but you do not see any more evidence of the strange creatures.
Nedry, can you do you have a spell to speak other languages?
No, I can only understand them.
I can't do either.
But it's
I-
clear that we moved into some sort of territory.
Yeah.
They seem to be protective of it. If your friends did come this way and didn't know to ask permission, which sounds unlikely, then maybe these were the ones that made off with them. They didn't seem to be particularly, well, nasty in a certain sense. I mean, I don't know. I don't know where it was trying to take me. It's like they
Well-
could move through the walls.
Yeah, but it didn't try to take you through the walls. So I don't know if it could take his friends through the walls. So why don't we just keep going down the corridor and hopefully we'll find Tuga's friends.
So as you make your way along, it continues in this way for a while, where you come to a couple of intersections where this material is still kind of covering everything, and so Tuga is no longer able to give you directions at this
Hmm.
point. So, and the walls, ceiling, and floor are all covered with this stuff. So there's no more chalk symbols to follow. So, uh, just as a general sense, like what sort of strategy would you be following? Would you be trying to just keep going straight, or are you? What would be your mindset be in that situation?
Do you have a thought, Nedry?
Well, we can try to map it out as we go. There's not a lot to distinguish things. If we keep in a straight line for a while and note the sides, then we can double back and check on them possibly.
All right. Let's give that a try.
Mm-hmm. All right, so you continue on for another 20 yards or so, and gradually the slime on the walls, this strange oil, kind of just once again starts getting a little thin and patchy, and then eventually you're just back in more dusty brick corridor like before. And the next intersection you reach does have chalk symbols on it again. But Tuga says, I've never been to this part. I don't know what those mean.
Oh,
Hmm.
well, we don't have a lot to go on here. I suppose we could find a place to send a message to them, see if they can tell us something about where they are. But that requires going up above, and right now the only way we know to get back up above is back through that slime.
Um, why don't we try just yelling, calling out their names?
I mean, we can, but there's a lot of echo down here.
Well, they may hear us and yell back, and it'll let us know that we're somewhat close.
Are there other people that use the tunnels, Tuga?
Uh, I think so. Yeah. I mean, we heard about it from another kid who said he heard about it from someone else. I mean, I don't know a lot of other people that do, but you see people sometimes.
Well, we'll probably attract their attention too, but maybe they know the ways around here better than anyone else.
All right. I start calling out their names as loud as I can.
Okay. Okay. Um, you know, I was briefly tempted to make you like roll for that, but I think that's not like I don't see any point in that really.
Pronunciation error.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's like, did they say Kaylee? My name's Kylie. No, it must be someone else. Uh, no, I think what you do find though is that there does seem to be like just like the air feels a little stale. You realize that as you're trying to like you didn't notice when you're just talking amongst yourselves close by, but you feel like the sound sort of deadens itself out a little faster than usual here. There's just something about like it doesn't like the echoes, but you're still calling out, and you don't hear much in the way of echoes back to yourself. Is my point.
Okay.
It's like something just sort of deadens it before it would return. Um, but you are just kind of proceeding along,
Well,
calling out,
um,
or
after the goop, are there any other footprints besides ours? Because they would probably trail a bit.
make a survival check.
Oh, well, I'll say it out
Uh,
loud because, oh, shit,
I mean, you
natural
can.
19.
Oh, there you go. So yes, there are in fact, and in fact, um, what you with a 19, I think you do find that there's a couple of small footprints that you see tracking out of the slime, but you also conclude that there are 3 sets of bigger footprints that you think are more recent, because they're kind of on top of the smaller ones, and I don't think you recognize what it is, but these bigger footprints don't look like they were made from like boots or shoes. They're like slightly elongated for humanoid feet, with claws on the feet. That's what the tracks look like.
Huh. All right. Well then,
Maybe
uh,
they knew to ask permission.
maybe let's follow them.
All right. So you start following those tracks, and they lead you around of 5 or 6 turns. How are you proceeding in this at this
Where,
phase?
where I've got a piece of chalk and I'm like drawing an arrow in the direction that we came from.
Okay, okay. And then like, are you guys like you still have the light up? Are you still yelling out?
Still have the light, still yelling out,
Okay.
and um, also like trying to note down roughly how far we walked and how far we turned.
Okay. Make a general intelligence check for that.
12.
Okay. You are finding it difficult to maintain your orientation. It's just very confusing in here. You're doing your best, but you can't be certain how accurate it is.
Okay.
But as you are making your way along and continuing to yell out, uh, suddenly you hear from ahead of you again a slightly muted voice, like someone is yelling at you, but their voice is being affected by this same sort of effect in the tunnel. Um, but you don't see anyone. You're just hearing this from up ahead. You do see an intersection there, so they might be just like around the corner or something. But you hear a voice just saying, "Who goes there?"
What? I'm assuming they're speaking common.
Yes, but
Okay.
it's in like it's a little nasally, but it's an adult voice.
Okay.
Look at Tuga for if there's any recognition.
He shakes his head, and he kind of hides his head in his shell a little bit.
I say, oh, hey, it's Inhorn and my friends. We're looking for some lost kids. Who are you? And we're going to keep moving in their direction, but a little slowly.
He says, "You just turn right around there, mister. No kids this way. None of your business who I am. You just turn around and there won't be any trouble."
Um, well, I kind of need to see for myself if there's any kids. So if you just want to let us pass and look around, that'd be fine. We're not looking to stay. We're not looking to cause any trouble with you. But, we're not leaving lost kids in here.
A crossbow bolt fires past you, and it seems clear that it's a warning shot. Like, you don't think it was trying. They were well. Let's say it misses you by a fair margin, so you can conclude on your own whether you think it's a warning shot or if they're just bad.
Now, you don't want to make us mad. That would not go well for you.
Well, now you don't want to make us mad. And it would make us mad if you keep coming this way. So just like, if you don't want to make us mad, then you just turn around. I told you there's no kids here.
Why should I believe somebody who fires a weapon at me?
Why shouldn't you?
Because I don't like the way you're treating me, and I want to see for myself.
Well, I don't like
So-
people who push in through places where they're not welcome.
Do the footprints still continue on that same direction?
Yeah.
So, how could we, settle this without fighting? You let us look around. What can we do for you?
Got money?
Got a little.
How much?
2 gold pieces?
And you actually hear a couple of other voices laughing at that, but they say, no, I don't think so. So, how about this? You all just take whatever money you've got, you go ahead and lay it on the ground, back away, and don't come this way anymore because you're not welcome. This is our territory.
Are you friends of Honkin and Kylie? We know they came this way. Or have you seen them?
There's kind of a pause there, and I don't think you can hear it well enough to make out anything, but you get the impression that they're briefly talking amongst themselves.
Okay. I'll kind of turn
But
back
yeah,
to
you don't
Zinhorn.
really get any answer.
So we know they went this way.
Then we
They
move
don't
forward.
they don't sound very nice.
No, they don't sound very nice, and they're not scaring me. So why don't you get behind me, and we'll start moving forward faster. Because I'm expecting another crossbow bolt any second. And once I can see them, they're going to regret it.
Well, I can walk beside you. I may be small, but I'm not entirely, expendable.
And as he steps forward and continues to walk each round, he's going to cast Blade Ward.
Okay.
So he's kind of muttering constantly a spell as he goes through.
All right. So basically what you've got right now is you've got like 60 feet up to where there is an intersection, and whoever fired this crossbow bolt did it from around that corner. Like you think they maybe just sort of stuck their crossbow and fired and ducked back around. But so if you are proceeding forward, then let's go ahead and roll initiative again.
All right. I thought it was a 1. It's a 7.
Okay.
I'm glad I can't read.
16 from me.
Okay. 16. All right. And then what was yours, Zinhorn?
7.
All right. Well, like a 1 wouldn't have made any difference there. It's still
Yeah, but 1s make me laugh.
Sure. So I think you do as let's see. Um, um, yeah. So all as you are as you begin proceeding forward, there are 3 crossbow bolts that kind of fire wildly down the corridor at you, but they all miss pretty substantially. Tuga is kind of ducks into his shell and says, "What should I do?"
Stay behind me and keep up.
Okay. So as you are, as we begin this, they have fired crossbow bolts at you, but you still really can't see them because they're basically ducking around the corner, firing, and then ducking back around the corner.
All right. I'm moving forward because I need to be able to see them, okay. I think.
I mean, are you dashing? You have 60 feet to go before you get to that corner.
Yeah, I'll dash.
Okay. Tuga's not going to be able to keep up that way.
Oh, well, then I won't dash.
All right, I'm just saying. I'm like, you guys.
No,
Taxi to you.
I'm trying to hold this in my head, and there's not much in there to hold it in.
Well, I mean, you've got basically a 10-year-old behind you.
Okay.
So it's like you are like a grown adult, and it's a question of like if you are dashing at full speed, you're going to leave the 10-year-old behind. Is my point.
Okay, then I'm not dashing at full
Okay.
speed.
All right. So you're moving forward. You're 30 feet. Doing
Yes.
anything else?
I'm just, I've got my shield out in front of us
Okay.
to stop. There's not, I mean, there's nothing for me to fire at.
Mm-hmm.
All of my spells are rigged for a stand-up fight.
Okay. All
And-
right. What about you, Nedry?
Seeing how bad they shoot, I'm going to hold a mind sliver for one of them to make an appearance.
Okay. What's your range for that?
60 feet.
Okay. So you're holding that for when they duck and kind of poke around the corner just a little bit. Okay. All right. So it is. You move? Is your speed 30 feet or
25.
So you.
I'll be lagging by a little bit.
Okay. As they, as it's their turn again, the first one does sort of poke around to fire. So he's firing first at Nedry. Ooh, gets a natural 20. So that's going to
So
hit.
does the
Hang on.
reaction to him poking his head out?
Yes,
or?
but I'm doing
Okay.
his thing
All right.
first. That's all right. So he hits and it's a crit, and he rolled 2 ones. See, this is why in my Saturday Rime of the Frost Maiden game, I ruled that crits work differently, where you get max damage on one of the die, and then you roll the second, because otherwise it's stupid when you get a crit and it rolls.
Yeah, I've heard that before.
Yeah.
It's a good roll.
Yeah. But I won't do that without bringing it up first. So that's 4 piercing damage as you are struck by a crossbow bolt, Zinhorn, and then also.
Wait, was it Zinhorn that was hit or me?
Zinhorn? Yes, it was Zinhorn.
Oh, okay, sorry.
Okay. I thought you were aiming at Nedry.
No.
Okay.
Okay. Yes, it was Zinhorn that was hit.
Okay.
Yeah. And then I was rolling his intelligence saving throw for the reaction, and I rolled a second natural 20. So.
Oh wow,
Yeah.
nice.
Whoa.
Yeah. So, is there any damage on a success for that spell? I don't think so, but
I don't think so. No.
Yeah. Okay, so you sort of try to strike out, but that guy is craftier than you expected. And then 2 more guys are ducking around and firing at Zinhorn because he is the big obvious target with a big shield that's all lit up, and he's the one in front. I don't have my dice tray out. That's a 16 to hit.
That will not hit.
Okay. And then a 15 to hit. So that'll also not hit. But those are you clearly much closer. I think they're glancing off your armor or hitting your shield rather than just firing completely wild. You see that like now that you're closer, before they were just firing like it's just a long range for a hand crossbow. But they, as they each sort of duck around to fire at you, they all then pull back around. But both of you can make a perception check for me to like how good a look at you get at them.
Yeah, 14.
12.
Yeah, I think both of you get just a vague sense, like certainly humanoid in shape and everything, but like. Something a little weird about their face, but you didn't get really enough of a look to be sure. Okay, so Nedry, excuse me, I think I did this in the wrong order before, but yeah, no, it's Nedry. That's right, Nedry, your turn.
Okay.
I didn't get to go.
You've had the one. You're at the end of the initiative. And your first turn, you moved forward, and we decided.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. Yeah. So it'll be your turn again in a moment, but your last turn was where you moved up.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So the enemies are at the top of the initiative, so they started out. They've had 2
Oh, okay.
so far, and this
Got
is
it. Got it.
Yeah.
All right.
Nedry.
Right. Yeah, just sort of moving further forward. So another 25. I'm still about 10 feet behind where Zinhorn will be, and not about 10 feet from the corner. and calling out and then preparing a spell. So the calling out is just the free 2 seconds of words, which was, we don't really want to fight. And then I begin to cast Mind Sliver and hold it until
Okay.
I see one of them appear again.
So I think what confused the thing is that I actually had you and Nedry in reverse order in the first round for no good reason.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, okay. So Zinhorn, now it's your turn.
Okay. I am going to prepare Sacred Flame and hold it as I move forward.
Okay. So you can basically get right up to where the intersection is, but not quite around the corner.
Okay.
But you can certainly hold your Sacred Flame for the first one to duck around.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So as uh, as the next one starts to duck around, I am letting them make their attack first, and then we'll deal with the held actions. Oh, look, and we're getting a raid from Step Back History. I'm not sure I know who that is, but welcome. Well, we'll see. uh, so as you are ducking around, you getting crossbow. I think you're getting one this time, Nedry. So let's see. But that's a 6. That's not gonna do it, I think. And then 2 against you, Zinhorn. Okay, I'm rolling a lot of natural 20s tonight. This is a good die, apparently. So that's 1 crit and 1 19 to hit. Does the 19 hit?
19 will hit. Yep.
Okay, so the crit is a little better that time for 12 piercing damage,
Ow.
and then 6 piercing damage for the other one. But as they are peeking around this corner, you both are able to see distinctly rodent-like features and wiry sort of gray-black fur on their skin. And I think I'll allow either of you to make an intelligence check if you like to try to see if you know what that means.
15.
15. What about you, Zinhorn?
Um, 6.
Okay. So, Nedry, you think it's possible that these are were-rats.
Oh,
The one that makes an intelligence saving throw against Mind Sliver gets a 15. Does that succeed?
That meets.
Okay. So meet it to beat it, so that he succeeds. So then he's also making a dexterity saving throw against the Sacred Flame,
Mm-hmm.
and gets a 21. So
That'll beat it.
yeah. So as you now are aware, you've got were-rats that are sort of firing around the corner here, but you have now reached this corner. They have just had their turn. So, Nedry, it is you. You know that just around the corner, essentially, you've got at least 3 of what these creatures are that might be were-rats.
Okay.
And you had said you didn't want to fight, but they didn't seem to think that was a reasonable thing to say when they warned you, "Don't come this way or we'll fight," and you came that way anyway. So like,
All right. So yeah, so I come up to the corner. How close together are they?
I mean, if you come around the corner, they're all basically right there because they've got their their backs. They're just staying where they can have enough movement to move around the corner and then back. So they're kind of all right there around the corner.
Okay. Hmm. Is there any sort of notion about where rats are they evil creatures or anything like that that's known, or are they just another creature?
Well, so as we established early on in our our setting for this, we have created a world where, from my perspective, there's kind of no such thing as like an inherently evil race. And that said, lycanthropy is a curse, and so that does sometimes have an effect on people's behavior, but I would like to say that I don't personally flavor it as like good or evil as much as it might change behavior, but not in a like moral sense.
Okay.
Now that said, yeah, so I would say you cannot conclude one way or the other just from knowing that they're rare rats.
Okay.
Now that
Seeing the
said,
three of them,
hiding in a secret tunnel and yeah, being shifty, like that's
I mean, technically, Tuga's friends are also hiding in tunnels and potentially being shifty.
yeah.
Speaking of that, do I see beyond them anyone or anybody, or just
No,
them?
past them you just see more of these sort of strange maze-like brick corridors.
Okay. I'll give them one last chance then. Um, he's going to. How do I want to put this? He's going to raise his hands and say, "We really don't want to fight. We're just looking for our friend's two friends. This could get very, very bad for you. This is your chance to just walk away and let us pass." That's it. Perhaps a persuasion roll, but that's it.
Okay. Yeah, I think you're not going to persuade them with this line of reasoning. But
Okay.
we'll move forward. So that's Nedry's turn. What are you doing, Zinhorn, especially given that that's what Nedry just did?
I am going to cast Cure Wounds on myself,
Okay.
and that will give me back 8 points. And then I'm going to use my bonus action to cast Spiritual Weapon. Actually, I'm just gonna hold Guiding Bolt, not Guiding Bolt, Sacred Flame again,
Okay. In case of what?
in case they attack again.
Okay. So I think it's their turn again, and given that Nedry essentially just sort of like hands up and Zinhorn like didn't attack but is looking kind of hostile, I think that they are also like they raise their actually I think they all draw short swords. And they are brandishing them like don't come any closer, but they don't attack. They are holding their own attacks. But what they say is, "We're not leaving. This is our place. You're the one that isn't welcome here. And we're not letting you come any closer."
Well, Nedry, I think we tried as hard as we could.
Can I point to the footprints if they're visible at all? Like, are they going in their direction or are they going in a different direction?
I mean,
there's a turn.
you can see in the light from Zinhorn's shield, you can see the tracks that go further off. In like you could follow them, like it would go like 30 feet up past where they are, and then take a left. Like you can see the tracks.
Oh, so they.
It doesn't go through them then.
No, it does. It does go through
okay.
them. My point
Oh.
is, it's obvious. You see the tracks are the way that they're blocking.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we did warn you. Now you're facing a pair of dragons.
And whenever my turn is up, I'll cast Dragon's Breath.
Okay. So, yeah, all right.
Light them up.
Go ahead and cast that spell. They're gonna react with their held actions.
Okay.
Do you attack on that first casting?
I'm just checking that now because yes, it's a bonus action to do it, so
all right.
I can attack. I will choose cold.
Okay.
and it's a
And
dexterity
where
saving
at?
throw.
Yeah, fire. I would have gone with fire.
Dexterity saving throw.
Yeah.
How many of them? Like, is it a line? Is it a cone?
15-foot cone.
Okay. All right.
So he'd move up to where he needs to be at least.
Sure. Sure. Okay. That's a 16 and an 11 and a 14.
Okay. It's a 15 target, so 2 fail, 1 succeeds. The one that succeeds takes half damage.
Mm-hmm.
That is 11 points of cold damage,
Okay.
or 5, I guess, for the one that
Mm-hmm.
succeeded.
Okay.
So yeah, it's kind of like suddenly this tiny little thing breathes dragon's breath
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
honor of his friend.
Okay. So, yeah, they are like surprised when you do that, and they don't seem to enjoy that at all, and they're gonna all attack you with their short swords. That's a 17 to hit.
Yeah, okay. Can I use a reaction here or with a spell, or am I casting 2 spells at the same time?
I guess you weren't holding your action. You waited for your next turn again. So,
Mhm.
I mean, they are. If you have your reaction, so you could use your reaction. I mean,
Okay.
use your reaction to react to their reaction. I mean, is that what you're asking? I feel like I don't understand the question.
Yeah, well, I just have to check something. I don't know if I need a second reaction.
Are you just trying to cast shield, or what are you doing?
So I'm going to cast shield,
Okay.
and then I'm going to also slap the protective verses
You
to
don't have
give.
2 reactions. You
No,
can
it
do-
doesn't require a reaction to do. It's just when you cast a spell, I
Okay.
expend a charge.
Okay. Okay.
And I will give Zinhorn um 11 temporary hit points.
Okay. So you cast shield. What does that make your AC?
20.
Okay. Well, a 20 is what the second one got with his short sword.
Okay.
Um,
And
and so
sorry, I just
that's
have to do a little more math. There we go. Okay.
5 piercing damage. And then the third one gets a 6. So that's going to miss. But yeah, they definitely react to you attacking them by attacking you.
Okay.
All right. Nedry, excuse me, Zinhorn, your turn.
Now I had an attack held.
Well,
Does that go off?
but I would
Oh,
say no, because we really wait
no.
for another round, and technically Nedry's the one that attacked first.
Got it. All right. Yes. In that case, I am going to let's see, cast Cure Wounds on myself again.
Okay.
And I get 11 points. Back, which brings me up almost to full. And then I'm going to hit them with my breath weapon.
Okay. So tell me what that is. Like like is yours a cone? Is it a line? What like
My
tell me what I'm doing.
Mine is lightning. Each creature in the area takes the effect.
I believe it's a line though.
It doesn't. I don't see it. It
Okay.
says.
Just read the whole thing to me, please.
Okay. One action, Dex 12, damage 2d6, damage type lightning, range area in feet.
No, look under your features and traits tab, not your attack.
Okay.
Stat.
All right.
It's at the bottom under racial traits.
All right. In a 5 by 30-foot line.
Right. Okay. So because they are not in a line with each other, you can basically get one of them.
Okay.
I would allow you to move to where you could get 2, but one of them will get to make No, I guess they don't have a reaction this time because they
Okay.
made it. But
I'll move so I can get 2 of them.
all right, and it's what save?
It's
Dexterity save?
it's dexterity 12.
Okay. One fails. They both fail.
All right. And they're going to take 6 points of damage.
Okay.
And it's got to be pretty exciting for them to get 2 breath weapons, one right on top of the other.
Yeah. They
Pair of
don't like
dragons.
that at all. Okay, so it is their turn. And they all disengage and run away from you around that next corner.
Okay.
And so, Nedry,
All right.
your turn.
I'm going to. How far down is the next corner? I guess
30 feet.
I'll move
So
25 feet.
Okay, you're not quite able to see around the corner.
True. I will hold my action. If I see one of them, I will release the dragon's breath.
Okay. Zinhorn.
I'm going to make sure I can't remember his name, the kid.
Tuga?
Tuga, thank you.
Mhm.
I want to make sure he's okay. And then I'm going to move up 30 feet and look around the corner.
Okay. As you do, you see them like they're not ready yet, but they're getting ready to attack anyone who comes around the corner.
I am going to cast Sacred Flame
Mhm.
on one of them that looks hurt.
All right. One of them does look more hurt than the other two. They're all a little bit hurt. But he gets a 16 on his dexterity saving throw.
Okay, and for my bonus action, I'm going to cast Spiritual Weapon.
Okay.
And I rolled an 8, so I don't think I hit.
Okay. Yeah, an 8 does not hit.
Okay.
All right. So it is. Let's see. It is their turn, and they are going to dash away from you. They dash 60 feet. You can make an opportunity attack against one of them, Zinhorn.
Okay, with the spiritual weapon, I'm
No,
assuming.
not with the spiritual weapon. Spiritual weapon
Just-
cannot make.
oh.
Yeah.
Oh, so with my mace, or
Yeah.
okay. I got an 8.
Okay. Yeah. So that swings wide as they run away, and so they go basically another 25 feet down that corridor and then turn right and then are out of sight. But they're just basically sprinting. They seem afraid.
Okay. Nedry, let's keep following the tracks.
Okay. This tastes minty.
And it's sort of the blue lips at this point.
All right. So here's the question for you, though, as you proceed. You realize that where they went is not where the other tracks go. So what
That's
are you,
fine.
Well, but what are you doing, though?
I think we should follow the smaller tracks. The sooner we find Tuga's friends, the better.
Okay.
I agree.
Okay. I'm just saying, but are you still bringing Tuga with you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
All right. I'm just saying it's not obvious to me that yes, you definitely bring the child with you into a place where you were just fighting were-rats. I'm just saying, I don't know. I'm not judging you, but I'm just saying it's not obvious enough that I don't have to ask.
Okay.
Okay, so once we pass the were-rats, I'm gonna move into the rear and watch the rear and leave my spiritual weapon 30 feet behind us.
Okay. All right. So.
And it's glowing, right? So it's
Yeah.
Does it?
I mean, it doesn't really give off light. It's just kind of spectral.
Okay. But if something shows up at the edge of my vision, I'll be able to hit it.
Yeah, only for as long as you can see it.
Right. Okay.
But yeah, so as you are making your way along, you're trying to follow these other tracks that go in, as mentioned, a different direction than where you just saw the were rats retreat.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so how are you proceeding?
Nedry first, Tuga second, and me taking up the rear.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. Nedry, please make a dexterity saving throw.
Yeah. All right. Dirty 20.
Okay. You find that you have just stepped on a tripwire, and a flask of chemical suddenly flings out of the a dark little niche on the wall at you and explodes into fire just to your left against the wall, and just missing you. And it is going to yeah, so it continues burning, but you basically evaded the initial fire, but like half the tunnel right there is now on fire.
And this is the direction the footsteps seem to still continue going.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, your friends found a really interesting place. We're gonna have to be very careful moving forward.
Bear in mind that the tracks that you're following still show both sets of tracks, the big tracks and the little tracks. It's just not the
Okay.
direction that you just saw the were-rats just go. There's a previous set of tracks.
Okay. I think as long as we're following the smaller tracks at the minimum, that's still the direction we're ending up going.
Yeah.
So is the tunnel passable with the fire there, or is it like just half the
Yeah,
tunnel?
well, half you have to kind of edge around it, and you can feel the heat from it on your face. But yeah, but yes, you just set off a trap and managed to just avoid getting alchemist fire in your face.
That would have been bad. Yeah, I don't know where your friends are going, but it's intriguing. I suspect it was the other ones. Maybe look for where the footprints step to see if they avoid places. They wouldn't have set off the traps unless they were set after them, and it doesn't seem like there's been enough time for that.
And proceeding, I guess, at this point cautiously rather than at full speed.
Okay. Are you like looking for traps or?
Yeah, cautiously kind of stepping forward
Okay.
and seeing if we can see any more.
Make a perception check.
I'm not the one to be doing that. But...
I don't know. You're the one that's taking the lead. That's what happens.
No, I know. So that is a total of 1
Okay.
from my roll of 1.
Mm-hmm.
So alchemist flash to the face.
Okay. Well, that's what the previous trap was.
True. Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah. So you do not spot in advance that you find that. So you guys are staying really close to each other.
He'd step a little bit further ahead because he can see farther.
Okay.
But not outside of where Zinhorn can see.
Okay. Well, I guess I'm asking how far apart you are from each other.
25, 30 feet, I think, is plenty.
Oh, okay. All right. So, in that case, then, you find that Nedry, you step on a little thing that goes click, and all of a sudden, portcullises drop out of the ceiling, ahead of you and behind you. The one behind you is in front of Tuga, so you are now separated from your friends.
Oh, I thought I didn't see any more.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have any controls on your side? Does it look like there's a lever or an opening on your side?
Tuga, take your Lightstone out and look around, and I'll start looking around
Okay.
on my side.
Nedry, you receive 3 crossbow bolts shot in your direction. One of them
Ooh.
is a 22, and one of them is
Well,
a
the 20.
17.
Both of those hit.
Okay. For 7 and 5 piercing damage, respectively.
Okay. So 12 total.
Yeah. Those are fired through the portcullis that has dropped ahead of you, and then they duck around a corner again.
You guys.
I'm going to cautiously move in that direction to see if I can spot controls on the other side of the door.
Okay.
Um,
So, Nedry, go ahead and make a perception check, and then Zinhorn can make one with advantage because he and Tuga are both looking
All
on
right.
their side.
Perception,
14.
21.
Okay. So, Nedry, you don't find anything on the inside, but then again, it occurs to you that makes sense.
No, I'm looking on the other side. I'm looking to see through the bars on the outside to see if I see control or lever on that side.
Okay. You don't.
Okay.
Zinhorn, yeah, you see, you find where you can see like the mechanism that Nedry stepped on, and you can see where it slid out of the portcullis, and you see a spot where you could engage um, you could engage the lock again, so that if you were able to lift the portcullis, it would stay up. Like it would, it would ratchet up instead of just dropping again. But you
Mm-hmm.
don't see anything that would open it. You would still have to be able to lift it. It just wouldn't drop again.
All right, so I'll set the ratchet and try to lift it.
Okay. Make an athletics check.
7.
Okay. Yeah. Right now, your hands are a little sweaty at the moment, and you're having some trouble with it. Nedry, I think you briefly, kind of as you're looking through there, find that you see ahead around the corner the shadow of these were-rats again, who are just saying, "Look, we have our turf here that we are trying to protect. We don't want to fight with you either, but you're the one invading our territory." And then you
We're
actually,
rescuing
well,
children.
hang on.
Okay. Sorry.
That's okay. I'm just saying that, like, I'm trying to narrate. But one of them then just kind of says, "Well, we could tell them." It's like, "No, we can't tell them that because we can't tell you anything because it's none of your business."
Can I see them?
You see basically shadows of them, like just around, like peeking around the corner, because they're looking at you through the, they're a little ways away from the portcullis around a corner, but they're looking around the corner at you.
Okay.
Well, if you told us, maybe we'd go away.
And we might make it worth your while if we like what we heard.
You already had your chance for that.
Well, we have to rescue these kids.
So one of them already says, "We already told you there aren't any kids. Just
I
go
can see their
away."
footprints.
And at that point, Tuga just starts yelling their names again. Kylie, John Con, or Hong Kong. And he's just yelling out. It's like, "Are you there?" And one of the were-rats just says, "Listen, there aren't any kids." And then you hear a kid's voice from further away go, "Tuga?" And then the were-rats immediately duck back around the corner and are angrily whispering at each other.
I'm going to try lifting the portcullis again.
Okay. Make another athletics check.
All right. 5.
Okay, yeah, you're having a
My
hard
hands
time.
are even more sweaty.
Yeah, you're just so mad at these were rats. Um, and so the were rat pokes his head back around again and says, "Listen, we've got a rep to uphold here, and we can't just let people be barging into our hideout left and right. So listen, we've got your little friend here trapped. If you want him back, we'll let him out, but you guys can't come any further."
Both of them.
"No, we mean you."
No, let both of them go.
"That's none of your business."
We're willing to pay you a finder's fee for the safe return of the kids.
"Yeah, like 2 gold?"
Like 5 gold.
They whisper amongst themselves again.
Well, there's 3 of you. How about 6 gold? 2 each.
They come around and they say 20.
Hmm. You can't split 20 between the 3 of you. How about 18? That's 6 each.
"Yeah, well, how about 21?
21 is okay. Show me the kids.
They kind of talk to each other, and you hear like the hushed whispering, like angry whispering, um, and eventually they say, we'll have them yell out."
No, show me the kids.
Um, so you're seeing this like down like a long.
I
dark
take my
corridor.
pouch out and shake it.
Yeah. Do you have that much gold? Just for
I
my own
do.
knowledge? Yeah. Okay.
I have 29 gold on me.
All right. Okay. So there's some hush whispering, and then one of them just says, "Okay, just a minute." And then after there's like some whispering and some time goes by, you hear more like talking, and then they say, "Okay, we've got the kids, and if you want them unharmed, you pass that gold up to your little friend in the portcullises. He'll pass it up to us, and then we'll open the portcullises and let you go. All of you."
Have we seen the kids yet?
No, but they're wanting to make sure that you're not gonna.
All right. So I count out 21 gold and I give it to Nedry and I say, and you don't give them the money until we see the kids.
Makes sense.
All right.
So we show them that the gold is real.
Okay. So once they see it, they kind of you get the sense with this angry whispering that this is not a unanimous decision. You know that you think you've got 2 in favor of, hey, that's enough money, let's just do it, and a third that seems pretty determined that they still shouldn't do this. But at the same time, he seems to be outvoted, even though he's mad about it. And so you show the gold, and uh, you see 2 kids. One is a kind of scrawny looking, blue skinned teen, and then a young girl, Aarakocra, are kind of step around the corner a little bit, but they've clearly got like a hand on their shoulder, and they look like less scared than you might have thought, more like just like, what is happening right now? This is confusing.
Are you okay? Tuga brought us down here to find you. He was very worried.
And at that, they both look surprised, and then Tuga kind of, he waves like from the far portcullis, and they seem impressed at that, but they kind of look back and they seem to be told not to say anything.
Are you okay? My friend can help you if you're feeling ill or they hurt you.
They look back. We're not hurt. We're we're okay.
Can you have them come closer, please? I want to make sure they can get through the portcullis quickly, so we can leave you quickly.
And then we'll be gone.
So you see the kids toss the gold through.
Bring them closer.
They bring the kids closer. They're like within 10 feet of the portcullis now.
Okay. Do they look okay? Do they look like they've been hurt or tied or?
They look like they're a little unsure. Like this is a strange, unusual circumstance, and they're a little bit like not sure how this should be going or what they're supposed to do. They don't look hurt, but they also don't actually look especially scared.
Okay. I kind of make an editor makes a fake throw at first and then
Okay.
pauses. Just remember, you're dealing with dragons, and dragons get very angry if they're cheated.
and toss it through.
So I think that you get a dirty look for the initial feint throw. Like that was not appreciated by the werewolves. But then you
Got their
toss
attention.
it, and they immediately grab the gold and exchange a look with the two kids. And the two kids, like the Aarakocra seems just like a little skeeved out by them, but the Genasi kind of gives them a nod. And then they open the portcullis in front of you.
Can I do
halfway?
Can I do an insight check on that nod?
Yeah.
I'm not really good at
Yeah,
them, so I'm likely
same
not to
here.
figure out anything.
Mhm.
But that's an 18 on the die.
Okay. You don't know what the details are, of course, but it seems clear that there's some kind of an understanding between this kid and the were-rat. Like they've had a conversation where they decided on something, and they're confirming it to each other.
Okay. And how do they proceed to lift the portcullis, or do they?
They have some kind of mechanism that's around the corner from where you can see, but you
Okay.
can hear them going, and it starts going, and they raise it like 3 notches, where it's about like, it's enough that the kids can kind of duck under it.
Okay.
Come on, you'll
and
be
they-
safe with us.
They do, and then the were-rats drop that one again, and start raising the other one again from controls you can't see.
Okay.
All right, so you find that you are once again able to sort of reunite with each other. Tuga runs up to his friends, and they start babbling excited kid speak to each other. But I think also you get there's definitely a sense, without even needing an inside roll, that there's a little bit of like, just keep it quiet, Tuga. We'll tell you all about it later. But he sort of like picks up on it, but not like, it takes just long enough for you guys to notice. You notice before he is able to sort of cover it, that he wants to know more, and they're saying like, we'll tell you later, not right now.
Mm-hmm. Okay, kids. So how did you get past the what is the Goop Road?
You just have to say the rhyme.
Oh, there's
And,
another
Oh.
rhyme.
And Tuga just takes both hands, is just like,
You knew it?
I knew the rhyme. We don't ever go that way.
Now you can.
Yep.
And then Hong Kong just says, so, thanks for rescuing us. Yeah, we had it under control, but like, I didn't like staying down here, so thanks. Um, thanks for
How
helping
did
us.
you have it under control?
Well, I'm pretty tough, like I may look just like you may think I'm just a kid, but that's why all the grown-ups underestimate me.
I'm just imagining Nedry who has to look up to this kid.
Hmm. Yeah, well, yeah, you do, because yeah, he's this is a 14-year-old, and he's kind of getting into his growth spurt. So yeah, you definitely have to look up at him. But this is definitely kid, street smart 14-year-old who thinks he's pretty tough. But he is also a little like you can watch almost in real time his mental gears turning of like how seriously do I need to take these two? Because the answer is not necessary. Like as much as his ego wants him to just be able to say, "Oh yeah, I'm tough. I don't have to," this isn't any big thing. I'm not. I wasn't scared. I didn't need your help, that sort of thing. But then also recognizing like you guys actually look pretty tough, and maybe he should be more differential, but that goes against his nature, and you can kind of almost watch these gears turning in his head.
Well, you can tell us all about your thrilling tales. It's a fairly straightforward walk back from here, thankfully.
Um, and Hong Kong just kind of says, "Well, I mean, you're not going back through Goop Road, are you?"
Is there a better way out?
It's the only road I know.
Yeah, yeah. Here, this way. And he starts leading you. Like he obviously knows this part of the tunnels, and so he's
Mm-hmm.
so uh, he takes you through, and it's not very far before you realize that you've just turned a corner, and all of a sudden there's like another one of these basement windows, and he just immediately like hops up to start crawling through it, and then turns around though to like hold his hand out and says, "Come on, Tuga." And so he's helping Tuga up through there.
Yep.
And then Kylie, while they're waiting for like Tuga to sort of squeeze his shell through, Kylie just kind of does look up at you and says, "Hong Kong likes to act tough, but yeah, we did thank you for coming."
You're welcome. They were going to hurt you, weren't they?
Um, she looks like that's a more complicated answer than you expected. Well, they like they didn't want to. She kind of leans over and just says, "Basically, we just found their hideout, and they didn't want us to leave knowing where their hideout was."
Okay. All right. That makes more sense.
It's okay. Zinhorn knows a place you can be safe. Right,
Yeah.
Zinhorn?
Yeah.
She kind of gives a sort of a like a too wise for her ears look and just says, "We'll be okay."
At least let me tell you about the orphanage.
She says, "Okay," but she starts climbing up after Tuga, and I think as you guys start to follow outside that, to go up through that window, you realize it is you are like all the way across town. Like there is no way that you walked that far in those tunnels. But nonetheless, you have emerged, like in completely the other side of town.
Definitely a good shortcut. Thanks for the lift, Zinhorn. I couldn't reach the window.
Thanks for helping me pull me out of the window. There's nothing for me to grab onto.
So I think as you're climbing back out there, well, so like you're tall enough you can just climb it easily.
Yeah.
Yeah, you didn't need any assistance.
But you said last time I had trouble getting my
right,
wings
yeah.
closed.
Yeah,
And
I
spinning
think
through.
yeah, I think
I'm just big.
yeah, Yeah, it's just awkward is all.
Yeah.
You're capable. It's just, you know, slow because you're having to take your time with it is all.
Yeah.
But as you come back out though, as I think you're sort of like, getting to your feet outside, you suddenly find yourself the recipient of a big turtle hug around your
Aw.
midsection, and Tuka says, "Thank you for helping me find my friends."
You're very welcome.
I mean,
Anytime I can help.
it was a little disappointing not finding an actual pocket dimension, but they can't be everywhere. I do have one ask of you, though. Can you teach me that rhyme?
Yeah, okay. And he does. I can give it to you separately.
Yeah,
But,
and he writes, and Nedry writes
Right.
it down in the book.
And I'm going to give the kids my spiel about the orphanage and how wonderful it is. I would like to show them around and, let them know, like, we're not going to force you to go there, but if you need a place, if you need a meal, we're here to help.
Okay. Make a persuasion check, bearing in mind that it's a high DC, because they are like reluctant to trust, and they feel like they are in as much control as they think they can be.
23.
Yeah. I think that it's not like they don't just agree to go there now, but they do. You realize that when you start talking about like, we're not going to force you to go, but sometime like if you need a meal or something, I think you see kind of a longing look with some of them, and you have told them where they can go if they need it, and
Yeah.
you think that might have sunk in. So they don't want to go there now, but you feel like it's possible that they might see it as a place to go if they need help in the future.
Okay.
All right. So now you and Zinhorn and Nedry, you're all the way across town, and I don't know if you want to try finding your way through the shortcut again, or whether you just do you have?
I
enough
think I've
gold
had
points?
enough of the shortcut for today.
It's good to know it's there, though.
It
could be-
really is. If we can map that out, that might make a nice shortcut from time to time. And
And I'm pretty sure that my robes have picked up enough samples so I can study
Yeah, you guys
some
are
of this.
filthy.
um, do I know like where I am, if there's any good restaurants around here?
Oh yeah, I think so. I think you know the city well enough.
Nedry, come on. I know a great noodle place on the street. They give you like the food in a coconut, and we can just take it and walk with it. They don't even care if we're filthy. Such good noodles.
That sounds great. Tell you what, my treat. I think you've paid enough for today.
Yeah,
Thank you. I appreciate that.
nice. All right. Well, I think maybe that's a good note to close on then for tonight. So as Zinhorn and Nedry carry their noodles off into the sunset, it's probably not quite sunset yet, but we'll close for tonight, and then hopefully we'll have more of our party available for us next week when we return for more adventure on so many levels.
So many levels.